Hello, my name is Hiba Kafina. I am the project manager for assignment number 2, defining organizational structures. My group members are Iswar, Cameron, Mark, Robert, and Sakti. Just to understand our work delegation, we met as a group and picked our departments and selected the time values appropriate for each section. Iswar worked on the organizational structure diagrams, while me and Cameron worked on the PowerPoint. Robert, Mark, and Siva worked together on the project report, and then we met as a group and did some quality control on the PowerPoint and the project report. In our agenda, our first approach was highlighting the importance of project organization for short-term and long-term success. We then looked at organizational structures and the need for different ones to achieve these goals. It outlined 4 possible structures, and we concluded by picking 2, one for the short term and one for the long term. We then proceeded to pick the functional groups that would lead us to our success in these projects, and then looked at the results. The team evaluated different organizational structures and assigned them for short and long-term phases. Departments were then chosen based on their importance in ensuring smooth operations. This included research, development, manufacturing, IT, marketing, finance, HR, and quality control. A few of the factors that were taken into account were the company size, our focus, production, and number of projects we were taking on. We then decided as a group that we would use a pure project organization for our short-term stage, while using a matrix organization for our long-term stage. Just to have some background information about our organizational structures, we have the functional organization, which is career focused for individuals, where the project is not the focal point. Individuals are distributed across multiple projects at a time, and functional tasks are created, allowing for career development opportunities. Now, with the pure project organization, it's a little different. We have dedicated staff for a specific project, and they're focused on that project. The only thing is, when that project ends, then we have to move these individuals working on that project to another one, or that's an end date for their employment. Our next one is the matrix organization, which is functional and project focused. The resources are more balanced across multiple projects, and we have a little bit of overlap in command, such as functional manager and project manager. Then we have a mixed organization, where typically we use that for larger projects. It's good for projects that can turn into a spin-off company. For our chosen functional departments, we have R&D, who will help us with the design of prototype new vessels and improvement of older ones. Also have manufacturing, who will help us with the production of vessels for commercial use at a lower cost. Of course, we have IT, who will keep up with the software updates and computer system support services. We have marketing, who will help us with the improvement of sales by advertising and collaborating with other team members. Furthermore, we have project, which will be the department focusing on funds needed. We have finance, which will also assist in the production of vessels for commercial use. Also, we have HR, which will help us with the recruiting of new talent and utilizing the available talent as well. And finally, we have quality control to make sure that everything is going according to plan and ensuring that the company reaches 6 Sigma standards. Finally, for our results, we have a pure project for our short-term project, as I mentioned before. Here, as you can see, we have the president, we have R&D for Mark, we have manufacturing with Eswar working on it, and then we have the project with Cameron looking over that, finance with Robert, HR with me, and quality control by Siva. Then we have IT and marketing, where we'll need to hire a few more people to help us out with this. For our second part of the results, we have chosen the matrix as future organizational structure. The units that you see here are working days in a week, and here our focus was for mass production, and some of the things that are relatively more important than others were manufacturing, marketing, HR, and quality control. Just to understand, if we have the first project, which covers configuration 11, which was chosen in our previous project based on our calculations for the best vessel, and that was our first version where we have to mass produce, then ISWAR working under manufacturing would then allocate more days working on that first configuration, while our version 2 and version 3 still being studied would have less days being manufactured. Same would be with the IT, where we would allocate more days to the first configuration with the software updates because we are producing it and selling it to consumers. Of course, we'll be focusing on marketing for configuration 1 because that's the one we're trying to sell first before we're done with the research for the second and the third one. That same goes for other functional departments such as HR, where we will be allocating more talent towards the first project, and as well as finance, where we have to allocate a little bit more money to support the mass production and marketing for this first vessel. Because of the mass production, quality control has to be they have to be on their toes and watch out for the first project and make sure that everything's going according to plan. They don't allocate a lot of time to version 2 and version 3 because it's still in the research phase and not much of it is being sold to consumer. The allocation of days can change depending on the progress of each project. So as you can see here, we allocated more days for that first project we're working on and mass producing. However, as we move on to the second project, then we will add more days as the project progresses and we move on to different phases. This would be a conclusion to our presentation. Thank you so much for listening.